welcome to the Connects Marble League, a team marble competition starring 16 teams, which you saw just there in that opening ceremony. 12 events will be taking place in this competition, the first of which you see here is Team Pursuit. All the marbles on each team will roll down these two pieces of track to try to get to the end as quick as they can. The timing is based on the third marble, so the fourth marble's time doesn't matter. The third marble is where it is to win. The first team to have all three marbles cross will be the victor. Heat 1, here we go. Emerald Sprites and the Ice Angels. The Sprites have a lead. They've got their top three marbles. They're very close together, and that is going to be an excellent strategy to take that first win. The Sprites there doing very well all out the gate. You can see them in the lead against the Ice Angels. They have their three marbles there right together and do not bump into each other, and that gives them a very nice win with a nice time there, 5.793. They will be moving on. Ice Angels, unfortunately, are eliminated. Second heat, here we go. Graveyard Ghouls and the Kitten Castle. Down they come. Looks like the Ghouls might have an early lead here. The Kitten Castle, they seem to have made it up, and that is going to be a very nice win there for the Kitten Castle. Looks to be behind the Graveyard Ghouls. Had a bit of trouble there at the start. Had two marbles right next to each other, the Kitten Castle did. But managed to make it up. The Graveyard Ghouls, their third marble was quite far behind the first two. So even though those two marbles seem to finish quite early, they will still lose to the Kitten Castle and will be eliminated. Third heat, Mossy Mice and the Exoplanets. Down they come. Mossy Mice seem to be quicker out the gate. They've got three marbles ahead of the Exoplanets. Three Exoplanets, they're colliding with each other, and they will therefore lose to the Mossy Mice. Again, with this kind of setup, you need to keep your marbles close together, but also make sure you don't bump into each other, as you see there with the Exoplanets. That makes their third marble fall quite far behind, giving the win to the Mossy Mice, who just stayed consistently together, took that win. Heat 4, Revolutionaries and the Crimson Royalty. You saw the Crimson Royalty in the Marble Collision League. See how they do here against the Revolutionaries. It's quite close together. Crimson Royalty, though, there's a lot of speed there at the end. And that's what's going to give them the win here over the Revolutionaries. It's a bit of a strategy here as well. You might see here with the Crimson Royalty at the start there to use that fourth marble as kind of a bumper that will hit the third marble forward and try and get a bit of a boost of speed. Now then, Heat 5, Necromancer Knights and the Antarctics. Down they come, Necromancer Knights. They seem to have a very nice leader of the Antarctics. Will this hold? Maybe not. This is going to be very close at the end. My goodness, Necromancer Knights, they seem to lose it a bit at the end. Did the Antarctics get it? See what I was just saying here? Necromancer Knights got too close there to the second marble, but they do manage to hold it over the Antarctics just barely. The Necromancer Knights will manage to move on. Next heat, Valiant Velocity and the Scarlet Sins. Down they go. Valiant Velocity, they seem to be in a lead here. Scarlet Sins, that's very nice. They're making it up, and that's going to give them the win there. Scarlet Sins seem to be behind at the start, but did make it up quite quickly here. As you can see, making their move there with the fourth marble, hitting the third one forward. While the Valiant Velocity, they were quite spread out, couldn't get it to the end. And that is what's going to give the Scarlet Sins the win and the move on. Second to last heat here, Locust Plague and Fiery Opals. Fiery Opals, another team you might have seen in the Marble Collision League, but they have a new uniform. However, Locust Plague, that team's doing very well. Fiery Opals, their third marble, hitting their second one, losing all their momentum. And Locust Plague going to take that victory. Fiery Opals, they did not look like they were working as a team there. You can see multiple times, first marble hitting the second one, third marble hitting the second one. And Locust Plague are going to cruise to the quarterfinals. Final hit here, Cardboard Cutouts and the Surface Striders. Down they go. Cardboard Cutouts seem to change their order up as they come in, and they're going very quickly. That's not even going to be close. Cardboard Cutouts look to change their order up out of the gate. That second one moving in front of the first one, and it seemed to do them wonders. Quite an interesting strategy there by the Cardboard Cutouts, but the Surface Striders could not match their speed. Cardboard Cutouts a very dominant win there over the Striders. Looking at the standings from 9th down to 16th, Revolutionaries, they're going to get a 9th place finish there with a time of 6.040, all the way down to the Fiery Opals in last, 6.473. First quarterfinal here, two Cat's Eye Marble teams. We've got the Emerald Sprites and the Crimson Royalty. The Sprites, they seem to be in the lead here, pushing their second marble forward. There comes the Crimson Royalty though. Did they get past? I don't think they did. but it is going to be quite close. I don't know if it's going to be enough for a photo finish. Crimson Royalty, they were quite far behind here, but they made up some time with the third marble, the Emerald Sprites falling behind, but I don't think it's going to be enough, no. Emerald Sprites do hold on and will go to the semi-finals, eliminating the Crimson Royalty. Second quarter-final here, Cardboard Cutouts and the Necromancer Knights. Cardboard Cutouts, they're doing very quickly again, just like they did in their heat, and that's going to be another dominant victory for the Cardboard Cutouts. Necromancer Knights unable to match the speed of the Cardboard team there. Again, just look at the form of the Cardboard Cutouts. All their marbles close together, but not so close that they're hitting each other. Got a little bit of speed there on that third marble from the fourth one just at the end, and that is what gives them the win. They move on to the semi-finals. Third semi-final, Mossy Mice and the Kitten Castle. Quite two rivals if the theming is anything to go by. Kitten Castle, they seem to be falling behind, but they're making it back. Mossy Mice, what happened to them? My goodness. Mossy Mice, they seem to have a massive lead out of the gate here. Look at the Kitten Castle again. Two marbles going right next to each other. Mossy Mice had the lead but lost it here. Trying to make some moves around. Doesn't look like it was enough. Kitten Castle, they're going to take that win. Mossy Mice, they looked like they had it and then just lost all their speed. Final quarter final here. Locust Plague and the Scarlet Sins. Down they go. Looks like the Scarlet Sins might have the lead here. Locust Plague quite close together. Scarlet Sins, that's a large burst of speed from the third marble right at the end. And they are going to take that victory in this last quarter final. Locust Plague, they seem to be trying the Cardboard Cutout strategy of changing the order of their marbles. This time doesn't look like it worked. Scarlet Sins, they had a lot of space between the second and third marble, but it seemed to work this time. With that second marble getting hit by the first marble, but managing to stay up. However, 5th to 8th standings. Mossy Mice, Crimson Royalty, Locust Plague, and Necromancer Knights is the order there. As we move on to the semi-finals. First up, Emerald Sprites and the Cardboard Cutouts. Down they come. Cardboard Cutouts keeping very close together, while the Emerald Sprites, they're very wide apart. And that's going to give the Cardboard Cutouts a massive victory once again. This team has been dominating this event in every single matchup they've been in. You can see them being very close together. Emerald Sprites, they're very spread out. Those marbles don't seem to be working together very well. The Cardboard Cutouts, just excellent form. Don't even need that fourth marble despite being very far behind. They will take that win. They'll move on to the final. Second semi-final here. Scarlet Sins and Kitten Castle. Down they come. Kitten Castle, they seem to be quite far ahead. The Scarlet Sins, they made up some time though. Nice knock there from the fourth marble and the third marble of the Kitten Castle. And that is going to give them a victory. Scarlet Sins did seem to have a bit of a lead there at the start, actually, with the Kitten Castle's third marble falling quite behind. But look at this. Hits the third marble forward by the fourth marble. Lovely technique there by the Kitten Castle. That gives them the win and moving on to the final. Before we can get to that, though, the bronze match for third place. Scarlet Sins and Emerald Sprites. Down they go. Scarlet Sins seem to have the early lead here. Those three marbles staying close together, but they lose out their speed. Those two marbles at the front of the Scarlet Sins, they knock together. And the Emerald Sprites keep it clean to take the bronze medal. Look at this from the Scarlet Sins. They have those three marbles very close together. Look to be good, but hits the first marble as the second marble. Emerald Sprites pounce on it and take the victory. They get the bronze medal. But the final, Cardboard Cutouts versus Kitten Castle. Down they come. Cardboard Cutouts seem to have the early lead here. Kitten Castle making some moves. They're making it up. Can they make it? It's going to be very, very close for the gold medal. My goodness. That is a lot closer than I thought it would be from this start. Cardboard Cutouts seem to have a lead. Kitten Castle, they're making moves though here. Hitting those marbles forward. Cardboard Cutouts look to be falling behind. It's going to be very close, but the Cardboard Cutouts just barely hold it and will win the gold medal in the team pursuit in the first event of the Connects Marble League. What an event we had there. Some very, very close races. Cardboard Cutouts dominated throughout the event. Kitten Castle, well-deserved silver, and the Emerald Sprites take the bronze medal. Quite a competitive event we had today in the team pursuit. Cardboard Cutouts taking the victory, and right now after just one event they stand at the top of the standings all the way down to the Fiery Opals in 16th. Next event is the classic event you've seen on this channel before. It will be Bounce Back, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. This time we have the second event, an individual event this time, Bounce Back. One marble from each team 4 at a time will roll down this ramp there and hit the wall at the back. Players there as close to the wall as possible. Each little indent on there worth 1 point. The closer you get, the more points you will gain. 4 times each of these marbles will roll down to get a total score from those 4 scores they pick up. So let's see how they will do. The first heat: Majesty of the Crimson Royalty, Leafcut of the Antarctics, Excel of the Valiant Velocity, and Grim of the Necromancer Knights. Down they come. That is very nice start there by the Antarctics. Crimson Royalty and the Necromancer Knights also getting a nice start. Down they come again. This time Crimson Royalty and the Valiant Velocity both do quite well. Each will pick up scores of 27 there. Third roll down. Valiant Velocity, very nicely done there. That is the Captain Excel, of course. They get a nice 33. Not Crimson Royalty and Necromancer Knights, they're also not doing badly. That's coming out the last time. And Valiant Velocity again. That is a brilliant 31 from Excel there. And that is going to give them a lovely starting score of 109, putting them at the top to start. Meanwhile, the Necromancer Knights, they are currently in second place with 101. Second hit: Sardonyx of the Fiery Opals, Calico of the Kingdom Castle, Arion of the Exoplanets, and Faith, Captain of the Ice Angels. That is Sardonyx of the Fiery Opals, 34 points, a lovely score. Arion, meanwhile, they've fallen down all the way to a 14. Calico not doing too badly there. Oh, will they do it again? Sardonyx, once again, they do get the best score, this time in 25. You see Arion bouncing back slightly with a 23. Third roll for these marbles. I believe that's the Ice Angels. Faith, they get a nice 29 there. Calico with a 26. Sardonyx does still lead these 4 though. How will they go to the end? That is Sardonyx getting the 24, and that's going to give them the win over these 3 marbles. That puts them at 105, 4 points behind the Valiant Velocity, still in first. Meanwhile, Arion is in last place. Now then, Elf of the Emerald Sprites, Murine of the Mossy Mice, Scooter of the Surface Riders, and Envy of the Scarlet Sins. Envy, a nice start there with a 31. Murine and Scooter both fall all the way down to 10 for the Mossy Mice and Surface Striders. Then they come again. Looks like the Surface Striders and Mossy Mice both got pretty well there, but so is every other marble. It's like 29, 28, 27, 26 for those 4. Down they come for the third roll. Surface Striders, they seem to bounce back quite a bit. Well, not bounced back. 32 points there, but they bounced back from what was their 10. They're now at 70, and down they come for the last bounce. Gonna be the Emerald Sprites. They do the best in that final roll, but it is the Scarlet Sins do the best of the group with 101. Envy, still not enough to get close to the Valiant Velocity in first. We've got 4 marbles left. Let's see if any of them can challenge. Standee, Captain of the Cardboard Cutouts, Revolt of the Revolutionaries, Spectre of the Graveyard Ghouls, and Disaster of the Locust Plague. It's like Standee, they get off to a nice start with 27, but it's Disaster with the 28 who takes the first win of this heat. Down they come again. That is Spectre of the Graveyard Ghouls, 31. Meanwhile, Standee with a 28, Revolt with a 27. Down they come again. Third roll. Spectre again. 27. They do take the win of that roll. And now the last one. Can any of them get up to the 109 set by the Valiant Velocity? It's going to be close, but no. Standee's 35 does not hit it. But that does give them the silver medal just over his Graveyard Ghouls. 107 points for both of those teams, gives them the silver and the bronze. But Axel, Captain of the Valiant Velocity, wins the gold. That gold medal propels the Valiant Velocity all the way up into second place. But the Cardboard Cutouts have won a gold and a silver medal in a row. 37 points, they lead by 12. See the Scarlet Sins and the Kingdom Castle there in third and fourth respectively. But then we also see 3 different ties. Emerald Sprites and Graveyard Ghouls there in fifth. We see the Revolutionaries and Anarchists in 13th and Exoplanets and Ice Angels. They are both in 15th. There's only 3 points each. Next event we will be seeing is block bumping. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connect Marble League. This is event 3. Today we have block bumping. 4 marbles on each team will be rolled down into the top funnel that you will see in a minute. They will roll down one at a time depending on how long they stay in the funnel and hit that block there as far as they can. The further down there that they hit the block, the more points they will get just based on their distance. Furthest to hit the block will be the winner. So let's see how these teams do. First up, we have the Ice Angels. This team has not been doing so well so far. Let's see how they can do in this event. Down they come rolling around in the final. First one, not a bad push. Good push by the second and third. Fourth push, they all come down quite at the same time. See if that worked out for them. Taking a look at the replay here. Pretty strong first and second push. Third push got quite far too. That fourth push looked like it could have been better. But that still looks like it's going to be a very good score. 57.1 to start out. That is a strong score by the Ice Angels to start. Second up, the Locust Plague. This team, they've been doing quite middle of the road so far. So we'll see how they can do in this event. Down comes the first one. Not that bad. Not that bad by the second one either. Down there comes the third. That's not as strong. Fourth one looked okay. Let's see how this shakes out. Really not a bad push there by the first. Second one was pretty good too. Third push looked like it could have been better. Fourth push also looked like it could have been better. Where will this shake out? At a 51.0 on the dot. Quite far behind the Ice Angels, but still doesn't look terrible for now. Third up, we have the Fiery Opals. This team has got last in the first event, but did do quite well in the second event to make up for it. Not the greatest first push, not a bad second push. Pretty good third push there. And this fourth push shake out. Didn't seem to go that far. Still looks to be a pretty okay showing here from the Fiery Opals. Pretty good starting push. Second push looking better. See, you've got to keep that force there. But the third push was very nice. That's going to bump up their score all the way to a 55.5. Going to lock them in at second place behind the Ice Angels. Necromancer Knights now. This team also been doing quite middle of the road. Just like the Locust Plague. See what they can do in this event. Not the greatest first push we've seen. Pretty good second push. Lovely third push there by the Necromancer Knights. How will this end off? Oof, that fourth push, sorry. Did not seem to go very far at all. Watch this third push though that they've pulled off. The second push went quite far, but look at this third one. Smacks it very far across, but that fourth push, yeah. Hits that marble there and it doesn't seem to go very far. It's going to lock them in. Last place currently, only 50.3 for the Necromancer Knights. Fifth team up, we have the Kitten Castle. Down they come into the funnel. Don't know how much the funnel section actually matters here, considering it's the exit off that funnel that really matters. Not that great for the first 3 pushes, it doesn't look like. How will the fourth push change anything? That does go quite far. Although I don't think it's going to give them the greatest boost in terms of their score. That first push really did not go far. Second push, third push, neither did they. This last push was a pretty strong push. How will it end up? 52.8 slots them in current third place behind the Fiery Opals. Now Crimson Royalty. This team's been quite decently so far. Again, the winners of the Marble Collision League, so maybe that strength there will translate into this event. They come not the greatest first push. Is the second push. Also looks pretty good, but that's third and fourth push. My goodness. That did not end well for the Crimson Royalty. These first 2 pushes were pretty strong. That second one coming down here. But this third and fourth push did not go well at all. That fourth did not translate. That's going to be a 47.1. That puts them 6th out of 6. Now then, Exoplanets. This team has not been doing very well. It's only 3 points out of the first 2 events. What they do here doesn't look like the best first push. The first push doesn't really matter too much though. Second push, that did not go anywhere. Third push was pretty alright. Fourth push, that's got nowhere too. That has not been good at all for the Exoplanets. It looked fairly promising after that first push, but that second push went nowhere. This third push, it was pretty alright. Did get most of the force blocked, but this fourth push, just all that force goes into that third marble that got in the way. And that's only going to give them their 41.9. That is a paltry score for the Exoplanets. That puts them 7th out of 7th. Now, Mossy Mice. A bit of a jump there coming into the final. Doesn't seem to change anything, though. First marble comes down. Doesn't look like the worst push ever. Not a bad second push. Third and fourth push, those don't seem to go anywhere at all. Unfortunate for the Mossy Mice. It looked like it was a good start, but just fizzled out fairly quickly. First two pushes were pretty alright. This third and fourth one, though, that's where it really matters. Those two anchor pushes did not go well. That's going to give them a 48.5. Slots them in 6th out of 8. That's the first half done. Right now, the Ice Angels, our first team to run, they're still leading, 57.1. Fiery Opals there in second, 55.5. They're the Kitten Castle with a 52.8. Emerald Sprites. This team's been doing quite well so far. Got a bronze in the first event. What will they do in this one? Taking their time in the final. It's a pretty strong first push. Very nice second push too. Third push is done fairly well. Can they finish it off well too? Yes, they can. And that looks to have gone quite far for the Emerald Sprites. Is it going to be enough to beat the Ice Angels? It's 57.1. Fairly strong those first two pushes. This third push was what didn't do that well. This fourth push was also pretty good. Yes, very nice there. How will it end up? 56.7. That's going to slot them in second place. Just 0.4 behind the Ice Angels. Now, Revolutionaries. This team also has not been doing very well. Currently sitting in, I believe, 13th place, tied with the Antarctics. How can they do here? Rolling around the final. First marble to come down. That's quite strong. Second marble doesn't do much. Third marble, pretty alright push there. And fourth marble, that's a strong end. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to beat the Ice Angels. Pretty strong push there for that star one. But yeah, that second push didn't do anything. Third push was alright. Fourth push what really matters, and it was just kind of middle of the road. Gonna slot them in with a 54.8, just above the Kitten Castle and below the Fiery Opals for fourth place. Next up, we see the Graveyard Ghouls. They got bronze in the last event, with Spectra getting the bronze medal for Bounce Back. How are they doing this event? Not a bad first push there. How will the second push go? Also pretty good. Not a bad third push. How will this fourth push end with the anchor? That's gone pretty far. That looks like it could be beating the Ice Angels. We don't know yet. Haven't seen the score results. Very nice first push, though. Second push also gone very well. Third push could have been better there. But this fourth push was what really ended it very nicely. Look at that, gone quite far. Has that been enough to beat the Ice Angels? Yes, it is. 57.3 for the Graveyard Ghouls. Puts them provisional P1. I don't know why I said provisional P1. Makes no sense. Anyway, Valiant Velocity are up next. How can they respond to that excellent score by the Graveyard Ghouls? Look to be taking their time in the funnel. Very nice first push there. This team did get first in Bounce Back, which is also kind of a strength-based event. That third push looked like it could be better, though. Oh, does this fourth push do? Quite a nice anchor. That looks to be quite a strong performance. Let's take a look at where this will end up. Very strong there, first push by the Valiant Velocity. Second push looked to be quite strong, too. Third push didn't seem to go as far as they would have liked. Very nice fourth push. Where will it end up? 56.4. It's going to lock him in at fourth place behind the Emerald Sprites. Not enough for a medal, but still okay. Antarctics now. This team is, unlike the last two, they have not been doing very well in this tournament so far. Can they do something here? Not pretty good first push, actually. That second push was not the best. Not the best third push either. How will the fourth push end it? That's gone absolutely nowhere. That really fell apart for the Antarctics after the first push. Look at this, very nice job there. That's gone almost past the 20-point mark. But then look at this. That just second push did not go as far as they would have liked. Third push too was not very good. But then this last push, that was really did them in. That went basically nowhere. 42.6, going to lock them in second last so far. Not good for them. We got 3 teams left though. Surface Striders are the first ones up. How will this team do in this event, rolling around the yellow funnel? Down they come. 2 marbles seem to come down the first time. Not that bad. Third push didn't seem to go very far, and fourth push looked all right. But that third push, that seems to what has been going to do them in here. Look at those first two pushes, that excellent teamwork by the first two miles, but that third push just did absolutely nothing to improve their score. Fourth push was okay, but that's not going to be great. Yes, only a 48.8 going to lock them in currently at around, I believe, 10th place. Now, Scarlet Sins, penultimate team to come around the final, looking to take very nice by those first two marbles. Excellently done by them. These last two, not a bad third push. How this fourth push ended not excellently, I think. But look at those first two pushes. That was brilliant. Brilliant teamwork. Both came down, let one go, then the other, kept the momentum going. Unfortunately, the next two didn't seem to be able to keep that streak. Looked like it's just going to be a kind of an okay score by the Scarlet Sins. Let's see how this does. That's going to be 55.7, just above the Fire Opals. Puts them in at provisional 5th place. But here we go, the final team, the Cardboard Cutouts. This team, they've been doing very well in this competition so far. Gold in the first event, silver in the second. How will they do here? Those first two pushes look pretty good. That third push is excellent, my goodness. How will this fourth push end it off? That's not bad at all. Cardboard Cutouts, they're looking for a very good score here to maybe add to their medal count even more. Look at this third push, though. That is a stroke of brilliance from this team. That final push, how is it going to end? And it's going to be a 59.5 for the Cardboard Cutouts. That is a first place finish for this team once again. My goodness, 2.2 centimeters above the Graveyard Ghouls in second with the Ice Angels in third. Cardboard Cutouts have just won another gold medal. As of Event 3, the Cardboard Cutouts are a full 20 points above the Graveyard Ghouls in second place, 57 to 37. Just under them, we have the Valiant Velocity and Scarlet Sins in third and fourth. We're all the way down, still on 3 points. We see the Exoplanets in last place. Next event will be the Sprint, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 4, the Sprint, an event I'm sure you have all seen before. 4 marbles at a time will roll down this straight section of track to try and get to the end as quick as they can. The top 2 from each heat will move on to the semi-finals, and the top 2 from the semi-finals will move on to the final, and then the winner of that will of course get the gold medal. We've had 3 events so far, so the competition is really starting to get serious. First heat, Scarlet Sins, Fairy Opals, Mossy Mice and Revolutionaries. Down they go. Scarlet Sins are the early, they come Revolutionaries. Fairy Opals challenging, but I do not think they're going to be able to pass the Scarlet Sins. That is Greed of the Scarlet Sins who had the early lead. Then comes Riot of the Revolutionaries. Citron of the Fire Opals challenge, but could not make it. Revolutionaries and Scarlet Sins move on. Heat 2, Kitten Castle and Arctics, Crimson Royalty and the Emerald Sprites. Royalty out to the early lead, the Antarctics, they fall behind the Emerald Sprites. Fairy captain of that team will manage to move on with the Royalty. Crimson Royalty, they did very well in that heat. Antarctics seemed to have the second place, but then they lost out to the Emerald Sprites. Heat 3 now. Ice Angels, Locust Plague, Surface Striders, and the Cardboard Cutouts. Down they come. Looks like that is the Locust Plague out to the lead. Surface Striders. Those two are going to both, stride to an easy victory. Cardboard Cutouts seemed to be challenging at the start, but fell behind, leaving it to the Locust Plague and Surface Striders to move on. Final heat here. Exoplanets, Graveyard Ghouls, Necromancer Knights and Valiant Velocity. Down they go. Graveyard goes out to the lead. Necromancer Knights, they're trying to challenge the Exoplanets, but they get blocked by Orbitar. Doing very well there to block Death, captain of the Necromancer Knights. Graveyard Ghouls, they were coasting to the victory. Exoplanets and Graveyard Ghouls move on. Taking a look at the standings, you see the Necromancer Knights managed to take the 9th place finish, followed by Fiery Opals, Cardboard Cutouts, Mossy Mice, Kitten Castle, and Arctic's Valiant Velocity, and Ice Angels down there in last. First semi-final, Exoplanets, Revolutionaries, Emerald Sprites, and the Locust Plague. Down they come, Revolutionaries out to the lead. The Locust Plague are trying to challenge the Emerald Sprites. And that's very, very close between them. I do not know who got past Definitely the Revolutionaries taking the win, but who got second? They come to the line, and it's going to be the Emerald Sprites, just barely beat Swarm to move on to the final. Second semi-final here. Scarlet Sins, Graveyard Ghouls, Surface Striders, and Crimson Royalty. Graveyard Ghouls out to the lead. Here come the Scarlet Sins and the Surface Striders. And I believe both of them are going to get the pass. Scarlet Sins are definitely moving on. They took the win there. The Surface Striders, I believe, got past the Graveyard Ghouls. Yes, they did. Fairly comfortably, too. The Surface Striders will move on to the final along with the Scarlet Sins. 5th through 8th, we see Locust Plague, Graveyard Ghouls, Exoplanets, and finally Crimson Royalty down there in 8th place. But now, the final. Surface Striders, Revolutionaries, Emerald Sprites, and the Scarlet Sins. Down they go. Revolutionaries out to the lead. This Emerald Sprites trying to challenge, but they're not going to be able to get past. And Riot of the Revolutionaries will win gold. The Scarlet Sins were there challenging. Emerald Sprites took over, but none of them were able to pass Riot. And that Marvel will take the win in the sprint event. I believe Riot won every single one of their heats. A very strong performance by that Marvel. Fairy of the Emerald Sprites gets second, while Greed of the Scarlet Sins get the bronze. With their gold medal in this event, the Revolutionaries have risen all the way up to 5th place. Emerald Sprites rising up to 2nd, still a full 13 points behind the Cardboard Cutouts in 1st. Next event will be a new one, uphill battle. So I will see you there. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 5, uphill battle. 4 marbles at a time will roll down that ramp and then up the other ramp to try and stay on said ramp as long as they can. It is not based on how far up you get, just based on how long you can stay on it. And if you get stuck on the ramp, that is considered legal. It's considered a finish. You will not be given a time, but you will be allowed to move on. Of course, as with any heat like this, top 2 from the heat move on to the semi-finals, top 2 from the semi-finals move on to the final. First heat here, Emerald Sprites, Valiant Velocity, Fiery Opals, and Kitten Castle. Down they go, Emerald Sprites get the best jump, but they fall back quickly. And that's going to allow Valiant Velocity and Kitten Castle to advance. Nymph of the Emerald Sprites, they try to do very well, get up top, but they fall back. Meanwhile, Blitz and Maine Coon, they manage to stay up, eliminating Nymph from the equation. Second heat here, Surface Striders, Ice Angels, Crimson Royalty, and the Revolutionaries. Surface Striders seem to have the lead, Crimson Royalty just there as well, and those two will manage to stay up the whole time. Seem to hide behind kindness of the Ice Angels there. Look, they all get in a line. That's just not good for Ku or kindness. That allows Queen and Skater to move on. Cardboard Cutouts and Arctics, Mossy Mice, and Necromancer Knights. Down they go, and Arctics get a very nice jump, but they fall back very, very quickly. And that is going to eliminate them. You can see there, that is not everything, getting as high up as possible. Display and Reaper, they both managed to have good performances coming down. And that is what will allow them to move on. Weaver, they did not look happy about that. Here we go, final heat. Graveyard Ghouls, Locust Plague, Scarlet Sins, and Exoplanets. Down they go. Scarlet Sins, they do very well. They managed to get stuck up there. There's going to be a finishing time for them. Locust Plague also do very nicely in this event, which will eliminate both the Graveyard Ghouls and the Exoplanets. Look at this from the Scarlet Sins. Very impressive there to get stuck up there. Locust Plague, they demolished both the Graveyard Ghouls and the Exoplanets. And those two teams will move on. So looking at the 9th to 16th standings, it is Kindness. Only one there to get a above 3-second time, all the way down to Rat at the bottom there with 2.5 seconds. In the first semi, Surface Striders, Kitten Castle, Necromancer Knights, Locust Plague. Down they go. Locust Plague, Kitten Castle do very well, but the Kitten Castle, they fall back. Did Maine Coon manage to hold off Reaper? That's going to be very, very close. Surface Strider, they definitely did not advance. Locust Plague definitely did. Let's see the photo finish, and Reaper just barely manages to edge up Maine Coon, and the Necromancer Knights move on with the Locust Plague. Second semi-final, Crimson Royalty, Cardboard Cutouts, Valiant Velocity, and Scarlet Sins. Down they go. Cardboard Cutouts do very well, but the Crimson Royalty, they hit the Scarlet Sins, who seem to get stuck there again. Very impressive there from Lust to do that twice in a row. But unfortunate for the Cardboard Cutouts, look at this, they got very high. But Crimson Royalty, they hit the Scarlet Sins, which knocks both down at a slower pace than Cardboard Cutouts, and Cardboard Cutouts will be eliminated. They will still manage to finish 6th, just behind the Kitten Castle in 5th place, with Valiant Velocity and Surface Striders just behind those two. Now for the final. Scarlet Sins, Necromancer Knights, Crimson Royalty, and the Locust Plague. Who will take the win in this event? Down they come. Necromancer Knights get very high up, and that's going to give them an easy victory. Very comfortable to take the gold medal in this event. We had some close finishes in this one, but not this time. Scarlet Sins drop, Locust Plague drop, Crimson Royalty drop, and that gives Reaper of the Necromancer Knights the gold medal in this event. Not a bad performance there by the Crimson Royalty or the Locust Plague. They will each take a silver and a bronze respectively for their efforts, but it is the Necromancer Knights who win the event. Taking a look at this event standings, the Scarlet Sins, they managed to move up 2 positions to start challenging the cardboard cutouts. They're still 13 points behind them. Meanwhile, the Necromancer Knights and Crimson Royalty both move up 4 and 3 spots respectively, while the Revolutionaries and Kidding Castle both fall 4 and 3 spots respectively. Next event is another classic of Marble Sports. We have Balancing, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have the 6th event of the tournament. We have Balancing, one of the only events not to include any Connects parts at all. 4 marbles on the team will roll down that ramp there and try to get down as far as they can to the end. The most points being there. If you finish, that will net you 45 total points. All the points of them each marble will be added together to see how much they get. There you can see the standings from the last event. The cardboard cutouts still hold a nice lead, but the Scarlet Sins are making their way up. Now, first up, we have the Necromancer Knights. Down they come. To be pretty even there. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent run. No finishes for the Necromancer Knights, but all the marbles seem to get at least a bit far down. There's the first off, second, third, fourth, and how will they end with a nice 123. That's going to set the benchmark score. Second up, we've got the Locust Plague. Down they come. That's one going out very far. Will that one finish? Just barely not. We had a few early finishes, but 2 getting quite far down. There's the first off and the second, but those 2 marbles, they got very far, and they're going to bump that score all the way up to 138. That's 15 more than the Necromancer Knights. They will take the current lead. Next up, Scarlet Sins, currently second in the standings. How will they do here? Not very well. 1 marble on the left there, they seemed to do quite well, but the rest veered off to the right quite early, Quite early, those 2 marbles veer off to the right, and that's only going to be a 111. That's 3rd place so far out of the 3 teams that have run. The Revolutionaries, they are up next. How will they do? And that's gone terribly. Oh, this 1 marble do? They got quite far down. That last marble did. But the rest, that was all out of sorts. Complete chaos there for the Revolutionaries. This 1 marble, let's see if they can bump their score up a bit. Only going to be a 98, not even 100 points for the Revolutionaries. Not a good score. Next up, the Ice Angels. How will this team do? And that's not very good at all. That 1 marble there didn't even seem to get past that last dark block. Let's have a look. They veered off on both sides, but just did not go well at all. It's only going to be 93, and that puts them currently 5 out of 5. Fiery Opals now. How will this team do? Down at their gun, the first mob is going very far. They're going to finish. Will get any others just barely nuts. But that's going to look like a pretty good score for the Fiery Opals. Very good, I may even say. That first marble, they fell off around that dark block. That marble did very well to finish. What's the score going to be? 150 for the Fiery Opals. That is a lovely score. That puts them squarely in first place. Kidding Castle, this team is up next. How will they do? And they've, similar to the Ice Angels, honestly, seemed to go with a strategy of putting 2 on each side, but again, did not go well. That's only going to be 95, puts them 6th out of the 7 teams that have run. And at the halfway point, we have the Surface Striders. What can this team do? First mobil's going quite far. I'll have 1 veer off to the right. That one's going to finish, though. That last one seemed to run out of speed, couldn't finish. But with 1 finish, so this is going to be pretty strong score. That second marble veered off quickly. Those 3rd and 4th marbles seem to run out of speed, but that first marble did very well to finish. What will the score be? 135, going to put them in 3rd place currently, just behind the Locust Plague. Speaking of which, we see the current standings here at the halfway point. Fiery Opals squarely on top with that 150, all the way down to the Ice Angels with that paltry 93 down there in 8th place currently. Moving on, we have the Valiant Velocity. How will this team do? Seem to go quite far. 2 fall off. 1 falls off there. The last one will also veer off to the right. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent score. All those marbles at least getting past the first few dark blocks. Getting past those last 2 there. What will the score be? 118. Pretty decent score. Going to lock them in at 5th place. The Mossy Mice. This team has not been doing very well so far. What can they do in this event? Since the first 2 are going well, can they get to the end? Yes, they can. 2 finishes for the Mossy Mice. Will that be enough to beat the Fiery Opals? I don't know. Those 2 veered off to the right pretty early, but these first 2, can they do it? No, they can't, just barely. 5 points below the Fiery Opals puts them in 2nd place currently. Graveyard Ghouls. How will this team do? They've been doing pretty well so far, but that has not gone well. 3 marbles falling off pretty quickly. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. That last one seemed to get pretty far up, but that score is not going to be very good. Yes, only a 97 for the Graveyard Ghouls puts them in 9th place. Exoplanets, the team's currently in last. What can they do in this event? That's very good so far. Down the beam, gonna get 1 finisher, the rest fall off. But they've all fallen very far down. Will that be enough to beat the Fiery Opals? It's gonna be pretty close, I think. This team doing very well. All their marbles getting past all those dark blocks. 1 gets to the end, the last 2 can't hold, but that's gonna be a 158 for the Exoplanets, and that's going to give them the win over the Fiery Opals, currently in 1st place. Antarctics, next up. Can they try and beat the Exoplanets? Getting pretty far down, but no finishes for the Antarctics. They will definitely not be beating the Exoplanets. Looks like it might be a pretty middle-of-the-road score for them. Got most of their teams past most of the task black blocks. It's going to be a 120 for the Antarctics, puts them at 7th right now. Crimson Royalty, 3rd last team up. How will they do? Doing pretty well. Can these last 2 get to the end? Just 1 will get there. Other one cannot hold it. Those other 2 marbles falling off quite early on. Looks like this will be a pretty decent score. What will it shake out to? 129. Going to put them in 6th place right now are the Crimson Royalty. Emerald Sprites. This team has been doing quite well in this tournament so far. How are they doing in this event? 1 marble going very far. That's going to get to the end, but the rest did not do very well. Those first 2 marbles seem to just shoot out much faster. 1 veered off to the right. That first one, though, got to the end, and that's going to bump their score up to 115. Only 10th place, though, for the Emerald Sprites. Final team, Cardboard Cutouts. This team is currently at the top. How will they do in this event? Doesn't seem to be very well. That lead marble veered off to the left, while the rest veered off to the right. All fell off around the same time, but at different spots, and yes, that's not going to be a very good score. 110 puts them at 12th place, meaning the Exoplanets have won the event with their 158. Fire Opals with 150, getting the silver, and Mossy Mice with the 145 and 2 finishes will get the overall bronze medal. This event has shaken up the standings quite a bit, with the Necromancer Knights now up into 3rd place, just above the Emerald Sprites, with the Locust Plague all the way up to 5th, the Graveyard Ghouls falling to 8th. The medal winners, Mossy Mice, Exoplanets, and Fiery Opals, are still all the way down there, 11th, 13th, and 14th, Fiery Opals, Exoplanets, Mossy Mice. So those teams have not been doing quite well, but hopefully these points will give them a leg up. Next event, we are moving on to the second half of the season, starting off with hurdles, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 7 starting off the second half, hurdles. In this event, 4 marbles at a time will roll down this hurdles track there to try and get to the end as fast as they can. Top 2 from each heat will move on to the semi-finals and then the final. With the current standings, the Cardboard Cutouts are still 12 points ahead of the Scarlet Sins, with the Necromancer Knights and Emerald Sprites just a bit behind. So let's see how this event goes. First up, it's the Graveyard Ghouls, Emerald Sprites, Exoplanets, and Valiant Velocity. Down they go. Exoplanets seem to have an alright start, but they fall behind very quickly, and it's the Emerald Sprites and Valiant Velocity who get ahead. Those 2 teams will be moving on. Exoplanets, they seem to start alright, but quickly fell to the side. Emerald Sprites took the lead, and Valiant Velocity just holding off the Graveyard Ghouls. Those 2 teams will be moving on. Second heat, Ice Angels, Necromancer Knights, Scarlet Sins, and Surface Striders. Down they come, Scarlet Sins, they get out to the lead, there come the Necromancer Knights as well, and those 2 teams will comfortably be able to move on. The Surface Striders seem to have an alright start there. I don't know what happened to them, but they fell behind, took a hard hit off the Necromancer Knights. Scarlet Sins, they were just stretching their lead. Necromancer Knights there, taking a comfortable second place. Third heat. Cardboard Cutouts, Kidding Castle, Antarctics and Crimson Royalty. Down they come. Cardboard Cutouts out of the lead. Antarctics spelling Crimson Royalty. Crimson Royalty, we just barely get past at the end. And they will manage to move on with the Cardboard Cutouts. A bit of a long battle there between the Crimson Royalty and Antarctics. Neither could really get it, but just at the end, Antarctics fell behind a bit, and the Crimson Royalty managed to move on. In the fourth and final heat, Fiery Opals, Revolutionaries, Locust Plague, and the Mossy Mice. Off they go. Fiery Opals and the Locust Plague, they will get out to the early lead, and just absolutely unchallenged were those two marbles. Revolutionaries and Mossy Mice both having a lot of trouble. So the first two teams were just able to stay ahead and will move on perfectly comfortably. Looking at the standings from 9th to 16th, we have the Graveyard Ghouls. They managed to take the 9th place position all the way down to the Mossy Mice in last place. Not a good look for that team. First semi-final, Cardboard Cutouts, Emerald Sprites, Necromancer Knights and the Locust Plague. Off they go. Emerald Sprites out of the lead there with the Necromancer Knights trailing the Locust Plague and Cardboard Cutouts. They cannot do enough and will not be able to move on. Emerald Sprites and Necromancer Knights there, those two middle teams, get ahead early. And Locust Plague and Cardboard Cutouts could not make it back up. So the Sprites and Knights will be moving on. Second semi-final, Crimson Royalty, Fiery Opals, Scarlet Sins and Valiant Velocity. Down they go, Fiery Opals. They get into the lead. Valiant Velocity managed to overtake the Scarlet Sins very early and will manage to move on to the final with the Fiery Opals. Scarlet Sins had an all-right start, but Valiant Velocity managed to get in front of them and just blocked what they were trying to do, getting ahead, meaning the Fiery Opals and Valiant Velocity will be going to the final with the Emerald Sprites and the Necromancer Knights. Looking at 5th to 8th, Scarlet Sins, they do manage to get the 5th place position, followed by Locust Plague, Cardboard Cutouts, and then Crimson Royalty in 8th. But now the final. Necromancer Knights, Fiery Opals, Emerald Sprites, and Valiant Velocity. Down they go. Fiery Opals into the other lead, but there go the Emerald Sprites with the overtake. And they will take the gold medal in this event. Very impressive from that marble, Sylph, to take the gold medal here. Fiery Opals, they had it at the start, but could not hold it. Emerald Sprites took the lead from them and win the gold medal in the hurdles. Very impressive performance there from the Emerald Sprites. Fiery Opals, they take a well-deserved silver medal, with Valiant Velocity taking third. That gold medal from the Emerald Sprites has launched them into second place, now just 7 points behind the Cardboard Cutouts in first. Also look down there at the Fiery Opals. They have managed to get 2 silver medals in a row and are now up into 8th place. Next event we will see will be block dueling, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have the 8th event, wrapping up the second third of this tournament. It is block dueling. 2 teams of 4 marbles will roll down and hit that block in the center. The one that hits it further past into the other team zone will take the win there. See that line in the middle is what they've got to get past. Current standings, looking at them, the Cardboard Cutouts are now just 7 points ahead of the Emerald Sprites, with the Scarlet Sins also closing in. So this event could decide a lot. First up, we got the Graveyard Ghouls up against the Cardboard Cutouts. Down they come into the middle, and that's a pretty close match between the two. I'm not entirely sure who got it. Cardboard Cutouts seemed to get their first. Graveyard Ghouls had a bit of a comeback. What's the score going to be? And just barely, by 1 point, the Cardboard Cutouts will take the win. Second heat, we got the Surface Striders and the Locust Plague. Down they come, and that's also going to be very close, but I think the Surface Striders might have just barely taken that. Locust Plague had a good resistance, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No, it's not. Surface Striders take the win with a +3. Heat 3 here, we've got the Ice Angels and the Kidding Castle. Both these teams have not been doing that well recently. Out with us go, the Kidding Castle. That is a lovely push from them. Ice Angels might have gotten there first, Kidden Castle did very nicely with a lot of pushback against that team. What will it work out to? +6 for the Kidden Castle. Not that bad from them. Next up, we got the Crimson Royalty and the Necromancer Knights. The two teams come down into the middle, and that's a massive push there from the Necromancer Knights. A very impressive performance from the black team. Look at that, just so much force there against where the Crimson Royalty didn't have any. Gonna go for 13 millimeters over the Crimson Royalty. That's what they've won by. Emerald Sprites and the Mossy Mice are up next. One team here been doing very well, another team not, and that's gonna be pretty close. I'm not 100% sure who's got it. Does look like the Emerald Sprites, though, had a bit more on the top there. See the verdict, and yes, Emerald Sprites +4 millimeters over the Mossy Mice. Up next, we see the Scarlet Sims and the Antarctic. Scarlet Sims, they are currently in 3rd place. Let's see how they do in this event against the Antarctics. And Antarctics, my goodness, that was an absolute destruction. Seemed to just pierce right down the middle of the Scarlet Sims formation. And that is going to be +11 millimeters for the Antarctics. A calculated destruction of the red team. Heat 7. Fiery Opals and the Revolutionaries. Both these teams have been doing all right this season. Down they come, Fiery Opals. That is going to be a very impressive and dominating performance. Seemed to hit the block up a little bit. Revolutionaries didn't have as much force there, and they will lose by -9. Fiery Opals 9 millimeters ahead. And the final heat, Exoplanets against Valiant Velocity. Two blue teams. How will this one shake out? And that's going to be the Exoplanets with a very nice performance. Look to just hit that bottom of the block there, knocked it out of the way of the Valiant Velocity. And that will give them the win. +8 millimeters is their score. And that does us for the heats. Looking down from 9th to 16th, Graveyard Ghouls, they only lost by 1 millimeter. So they will take 9th place, followed by Locust Plague, Mossy Mice, Ice Angels, Valiant Velocity, Revolutionary Scarlet Sims, and Crimson Royalty down there with -13. First quarter-final, Fiery Opals up against the Kidden Castle. How will these two teams do coming down into the middle? And that's going to be close. But I think the Kidden Castle might have just had a bit of an extra edge on it. Yes, that block jumped forward first, but then it jumped to the left. And I believe the Kidden Castle will take it by just 2 millimeters. A very close heat. Second quarterfinal here. Surface Striders and the Cardboard Cutouts. Down these two teams come, and that's going to be incredibly close. Cardboard Cutouts had a bit of a last hit there, but I'm not even sure that moved at all. Cardboard Cutouts, again, they did have that last hit. Is they going to be able to give them the win? No, it's not. It's a dead tie. 0 millimeters, and they're going to have to go again. Down they come a second time, and that's going to be very close again, but I think the Cardboard Cutouts might have just managed to pull it off. Yes, Surface Striders, I think they were leaning a bit too hard to the right, to the bottom, and the Cardboard Cutouts will just barely win it. +3 millimeters for that team. Exoplanets and the Antarctics up next for the third quarter final. Down the teams come in the Antarctics. That is another very impressive performance. First was the Scarlet Sims, now it's the Exoplanets. What's that going to work out to? +12 millimeters for the Antarctics. Very impressive in this event so far. Emerald Sprites and the Necromancer Knights. Necromancer Knights, they did very well in their hit against the Crimson Royalty. Down these two teams come, but this time it's the Emerald Sprites who pierced the defenses of the Necromancer Knights. That was not even close. Necromancer Knights, they were very slow to get to the block, and that's what's resulted in their loss. +15 for the Emerald Sprites. Necromancer Knights are out. And as you can see, all the way down there in 8th place with that performance. Fiery Opals do manage to get the 5th place spot, followed by the Surface Striders, and then the Exoplanets. We move to the semi-finals. Cardboard Cutouts and the Antarctics. These teams on opposite sides of the standings. Will that matter much here? Doesn't really look like it. That looks very close. I think the Antarctics might have got it. That block jumped forward a little, didn't jump back much, and it is going to be the Antarctics. By 4 millimeters, they will take down the Cardboard Cutouts and move to the final. Second semi-final. Who will face the Antarctics? Will it be the Emerald Sprites or Kidden Castle? Down the teams come in the Emerald Sprites once again. Pierce through the defenses of the opposing team. A very strong performance up against the Kidden Castle, who again, a bit slow on the uptake. What's the score going to be? Plus 13 to the Emerald Sprites. They'll move on to face the Antarctics. But before that, we have the bronze match. Cardboard Cutouts and Kidden Castle. A rematch from the first event final. Cardboard Cutouts won that, but who will win this one? And that's going to be the Kidden Castle. They get their revenge to take the bronze medal in block dueling. They did very, very well here up against a top team like the Cardboard Cutouts. Plus 11, a calculated destruction. And Kidden Castle take the bronze. But on to the main event, Emerald Sprites and the Antarctics. The team in second and the team in second last. How will they do? And that's very close, but I think that block just jumped to the right a little bit. Taking a look at the replay, Antarctics, they did their best to defend, but the attack of the Emerald Sprites was too much and they will win plus 4 millimeters. And the Emerald Sprites win the gold medal in block dueling. They were very impressive all throughout. Antarctics, they did their best, could only manage the silver, and Kidden Castle win the bronze. The Emerald Sprites, they have managed to capture 2 gold medals in a row, and that is just barely enough to overtake the Cardboard Cutouts for the first time this season by just a single point. Fairly far way down there to the Necromancer Knights in 3rd place. Fiery Opals have also risen all the way to 5th now, and Arctics have managed to rise 2 spots. Kidden Castle have also managed to rise 1 with their medals. Next event, we will have Collision Curling, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have the 9th event of the tournament. It is Collision Curling. All 4 marbles on 2 teams will roll down into the middle. They will collide in the middle and try to get as close to the middle as they can with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 and finally 100 points for landing directly in the middle. Team with the most points will move on. Looking at the current standings, the Emerald Sprites are just 1 point ahead of the Cardboard Cutouts in second. We'll see how those standings look after this event. First up, we've got the Graveyard Ghouls and the Surface Striders. Down they come into the middle, and it looks like the Graveyard Ghouls, they look more central than the Surface Striders do. Both teams lost 1 marble there at the top left corner, but I believe the Graveyard Ghouls there, they have 160, 2 40s as well. Surface Striders, they only get 90 points with 3 30s, but the Graveyard Ghouls will be the first team to move on. Second heat here, we got Crimson Royalty and the Emerald Sprites. Crimson Royalty, they did win the Marble Collision League. Let's see how they do in this event against the Emerald Sprites. That looks like it's pretty close. Crimson Royalty did lose 1 marble off at the bottom, but I think they look a bit more central than the Emerald Sprites do. Emerald Sprites, they also got a marble with 0 there. Crimson Royalty, they have 2 marbles on the 60. Will that be enough? Yes, it will. 140 to 110. Crimson Royalty take the win over the Emerald Sprites. Third heat now, Ice Angels and the Scarlet Sins. Down these teams come into the middle, and looks like those are both going to be some very small scores. Both teams, they have, the Ice Angels have 2 marbles on the 0, Scarlet Sins have 1 marble on the 0. Is that going to be enough to just give them the win? It's going to be close. Yes, it is. 60 to 50, both very low scores, but the Scarlet Sins have done enough to move on. Heat 4, the Fiery Opals and the Action Planets. Fiery Opals, they were 3rd in the Marble Collision League. Will that talent be enough? Here they come into the middle, the Exoplanets. That looks very impressive. They've got a marble on the 50, 1 on 60, and 1 on 80, I believe. Look at that score from the Exoplanets. Not on the 80, no, that marble is on the 60, not the 80, but still very impressive. 60, 50, 50, 40 gives them 200. Fiery Opals only get 90, and the Exoplanets demolished them. Heat 5, Cardboard Cutouts and the Mossy Mice. Cardboard Cutouts, they have a chance here with the Emerald Sprites being knocked out. How will they do against the Mossy Mice? Looks like a good start, but the Mossy Mice, they curl that back amazingly, and that looks like they've got 3 60s. The Cardboard Cutouts, it seemed that they knocked them back quite far, but the Mossy Mice, they do an excellent job bringing that back into the middle. What's it going to be? They're going to get 220. The Cardboard Cutouts 150, and that will give them the win. Next up, Necromancer Knights and the Antarctics. How will these teams do? They come into the middle, and that looks like it's going to be very close. The Necromancer Knights, they've lost one marble on the 0 there. Antarctics do have all their marbles on the board, but they're less central. I think the Necromancer Knights might just have barely done it, and yes, they have 120, 50, 50, 20 to the Antarctics, only getting 110. The Necromancer Knights move on. Locust Plague and the Revolutionaries now. Down these teams come into the middle. The Revolutionaries, they have one staying very central there. Locust Plague, they've lost 2 marbles. Revolutionaries have all of theirs on the board, and that looks like the red team will be taking this win. Locust Plague, they got demolished there in the collision. And yes, Revolutionaries by 90 points, 180 to 90. They take the win. And in our final heat, we've got the Kidden Castle and Valiant Velocity. Down they come into the middle. They spread out, and the Valiant Velocity, they bring it back. That's a marble on 100. They're going on the 60 as well. Meanwhile, the Kidden Castle, they've lost 3 marbles. They only have 1 on that 30. The Valiant Velocity have pulled off an amazing win here. 200 points to the Kidden Castle's 30. Very impressive from the Valiant Velocity. Kidden Castle, meanwhile, that's a terrible result for them. They will be last place. Meanwhile, the Antarctics, they do manage the 9th place, followed by the Ice Angels, Emerald Sprites, Surface Striders, Couple Cutters, Locust Plague, and then Fiery Opals. But here we go with the first quarterfinal. Valiant Velocity and the Scarlet Sins. The Valiant Velocity, they just had that crushing win. Let's see if that can translate here. Big hit there against the Scarlet Sins that knocks out 1 marble, but another marble has managed to bring it back to the 80 mark, despite losing that one. This one's going to be close. There was another Valiant Velocity there, marble that got knocked into the 60 by that one Scarlet Sin. Is that going to give them the win? No, it isn't. The Scarlet Sins, they just barely managed to hang on 140 to 150, and the Sins move on. Here we go with the Crimson Royalty and the Revolutionaries for the second quarter final. Down they come into the middle. The Crimson Royalty, they stay very, very central. We've got 260 there. They have lost a marble, though this is going to be quite close. Revolutionaries, they do look quite central with 40s and 50s. What's the verdict going to be? The Crimson Royalty just barely 160 to 150. Another 10-point difference is what makes it. These games have been very close. Graveyard Ghouls and the Mossy Mice now. Down these teams come into the middle. Mossy Mice lose 1, but they do look quite central compared to the Graveyard Ghouls. I'm not entirely sure, though. Kind of set up in a kind of line formation. Graveyard Ghouls, they also did lose 1 with a 0. Who's going to get this win? It's going to be the Graveyard Ghouls. Just barely 90 to 80. The Mossy Mice can't hold it. Graveyard Ghouls move on. Final quarter final. Necromancer Knights and the Exoplanets. Down they come into the middle. Necromancer Knights, they've lost 3. Exoplanets have all 4 marbles on the board. It doesn't look like the greatest score, but the Necromancer Knights have only 1 marble there. And so that is going to be another strong win for the Exoplanets. The final score, 130 to 40. Exoplanets move on to the semi-finals. Looking at the standings from 5th through 8th, Necromancer Knights are at the bottom spot. All the other teams, they only lost by 10 points. So the Revolutionaries, with their score of 150, do take the 5th place spot. First semi-final, Exoplanets and the Graveyard Ghouls. Both the teams, they've been doing quite well. Down they come into the middle. The Graveyard Ghouls, they've lost 1 marble. And I think that's going to be quite close between the 3s. But the Exoplanets, they've got 1 more marble on the board. And that looks like it's going to be enough to give them the win. Yes, it is. 110 to 100. That extra marble there on the 10. That's what makes the difference. Graveyard Ghouls will lose it. Second semi-final, Crimson Royalty and the Scarlet Sins. The Royalty, of course, won the Collision League. How they do against the Scarlet Sins here? And that looks like the Royalty have lost it. Scarlet Sins, they got 1 on the 80 and 1 on the 60. Crimson Royalty, they have managed to keep all their marbles on the board this time, but they're not close enough to the center. And the Scarlet Sins will take it with a massive 220, despite the strong 180 of the Crimson Royalty. This does mean they'll go to the bronze match against the Graveyard Ghouls. One of these teams will be able to step on the podium with the bronze medal. Which of them will it be? The Graveyard Ghouls, they've lost a marble, so have Crimson Royalty. But the Royalty do look quite central there with a 40 and a 60. Looks to be quite close, but the Royalty did manage to stay in the centre more than the Ghouls did, and that's what gives them the win, 120-90. Crimson Royalty take the bronze medal. But we are here with the final. The Exoplanets and the Scarlet Sins, both teams that have been doing quite well so far. Down they come into the middle, and the Exoplanets, they've lost nearly everything. That's 2 marbles off, with 1 marble in the 20 and 1 marble in the 30. The Scarlet Sins, it looks like all their marbles run at least a 30. And that means the Scarlet Sins are going to take this win, 50-150. The Scarlet Sins win the collision curling event. A hard-fought fight there by the Exoplanets, just could not manage to get the win, with the Crimson Royalty taking the bronze medal. Looking at the standings after the conclusion of collision curling, the Emerald Sprites have slightly increased the lead over the cutouts, but the Scarlet Sins are now knocking on the door of the top 2, just 8 points behind first. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the standings, the Ice Angels are now the first team to be completely unable to win the league. They have a slim chance of still landing on the podium, but they cannot win. Next event I will see you for will be Bathtub Endurance, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 10, Bathtub Endurance. In this event, 4 marbles at a time will roll down into the bathtub you see there and try to stay out of the drain for as long as they can. The top 2 that stay out of that drain as long as possible will move on to the semi-finals and then the final. Looking at the current standings after the 9th event, Emerald Sprites, they are 3 points above the Cardboard Cutouts, or just 5 points above the Scarlet Sins, so this event will mean a lot for the standings. Here we go, the first heat, Cardboard Cutouts, Revolutionaries, and Arctics, and the Necromancer Knights. Down they come into the bathtub. Rolling around, a lot of collisions. There go the Necromancer Knights. The Revolutionaries, they fall in right after. So the Antarctics and Cardboard Cutouts, 1 more collision there, but those 2 teams will be moving on quite easily. Both the Necromancer Knights and Revolutionaries, they just seem to be all out of sorts. And as I previously stated, Antarctics and Cardboard Cutouts will be moving on. Second heat, Ice Angels, Emerald Sprites, Crimson Royalty, and the Graveyard Ghouls. Down these 4 come. Spread out a bit, not much collision here yet as they near the drain. Collision there with the Crimson Royalty and Emerald Sprites. Royalty managed to survive. Here come the Ice Angels collision. More collisions around there. And I believe the Ice Angels and Crimson Royalty were eliminated there. Quite a lot of chaos there at the end. Emerald Sprites, there's a nice block on the Ice Angels, sends them in. Then the Graveyard Ghouls knock in the Crimson Royalty. Emerald Sprites and the Graveyard Ghouls move on. Heat 3, Fiery Opals, Kidding Castle, Valiant Velocity, and the Surface Striders. Down they come into the bathtub. Spreading out a bit. Collision there between Kidding Castle and Valiant Velocity, but the Fiery Opals then fall in. Surface Striders managed to dodge the drain. There's a bit of collision there between Castle and Surface Striders. Kidding Castle, they look close. They're riding the drain. They managed to hold it, I think. That was incredibly close between the Surface Striders, Valiant Velocity, and Kidding Castle. Take a look again. Kidding Castle, they look to be getting close to falling in. Managed to ride around the drain. Collide with the Surface Striders, and the Surface Striders fall in. Meaning the Kidding Castle and Valiant Velocity will be moving on. And the final heat, Mossy Mice, Scarlet Sins, Locust Plague, and the Exoplanets. Down they come into the bathtub, rolling around. Managed to dodge the drain. The Mossy Mice, so they take a hit there, they fall in. Bit of collision there between Scarlet Sins and Exoplanets. Scarlet Sins are close. Can they hold it? Yes, they can! The Exoplanets, they look to have just thrown all that away. Mossy Mice fell in early. Scarlet Sins, they managed to ride the drain like Kidding Castle did. And the Exoplanets fell straight in. So the Scarlet Sins and Locust Plague will be moving on to the semi-finals. Looking at the standings from 9th till 16th. It is Skeeter there of the Surface Striders managed to take 9th, all the way down to Amber of the Fiery Opals in 16th. Both captains, very opposite performances. First semi-final, Valiant Velocity, Graveyard Ghouls, Scarlet Sins, and the Cardboard Cutouts. Down they come, rolling around the bathtub, seem to spread out a bit here. Collision there with Valiant Velocity, Graveyard Ghouls sends the Ghouls straight in. Very nice move of Valiant Velocity. Who else will fall in? It's going to be between the Cardboard Cutouts and Valiant Velocity. Actually, not 100% sure I got that. Scarlet Sins there seem to be taking their time falling into the drain there. Let's take another look, but first, this move by the Valiant Velocity and the Graveyard Ghouls, a very nice move there. And then we'll just take a look at this photo finish here. It's going to be very, very close. Who got it? It's going to be the Valiant Velocity. Just barely. They survive more than the cardboard cutout and will move on to the final with the Scarlet Sins. Second semi-final, Antarctics, Locust Plague, Emerald Sprites, and Kitten Castle. Down they come into the bathtub. Bit of collision there. Rolling around, Emerald Sprites fall in. Collision between the Locust Plague and Antarctics. Another collision there, and the Locust Plague fall in. Kitten Castle and Antarctics, they both do very well here. And will move on to a well-deserved finals appearance. Taking a look here. One hit on the Locust Plague by the Antarctics, and then here comes Tabby of the Kitten Castle. Knocks that marble again, sends them down into the drain, and allows them to move on. 5th through 8th, it is Figure of the Cardboard Cutouts, followed by Locust Plague, River Ghouls, and then the Emerald Sprites down there in 8th. And now we move to the final. Valiant Velocity, Scarlet Sins, Kitten Castle, and the Antarctics. Down they come, rolling around into the bathtub. No big collisions here yet, but there's a big collision. Then Kitten Castle and Antarctics collide again, and the Kitten Castle is going to win it. Just like that, the Kitten Castle, with 2 precisely made collisions, have won this event. Let's take another look at that. First collision between Scarlet Sins and Valiant Velocity. Then the Kitten Castle hit the Scarlet Sins, and then the Antarctics in a row. Scarlet Sins and Valiant Velocity were already gone from that one collision. The Antarctics, they fall. And so the Kitten Castle is Tabby, their captain, who wins the gold medal. Antarctics, Bullet, their captain, takes the silver, while Greed of the Scarlet Sins wins the bronze. That was quite an intense event we saw there, and now the Emerald Sprites and Cardboard Cutouts are tied at the top on 111 points, with the Scarlet Sins just 2 points behind on 109 for their bronze medal. Kitten Castle and Antarctics both also gaining a lot of positions there with their medals. Meanwhile, 4 teams are now completely unable to land on the podium, with another one there in the Surface Striders unable to win. Next event, we will see the relay race, the second last event of this tournament. I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 11, the relay. In this event, 2 teams of 4 will roll down at a time, with 1 marble at a time taking down the track. Each marble will then have to hand off to another team member to continue, and the team that makes it all the way down to the end first will move on. Looking at the standings after event 10, it is tied at the top between the Emerald Sprites and the Cardboard Cutouts, with the Scarlet Sins just behind them. So this event will have a lot of stake on the championship. First up, we see Antarctics and the Crimson Royalty. Down they come. Crimson Royalty, they seem to have the lead. Antarctics, they make a bit back, but they fall behind on the anchor. And a lovely anchor finish there by the Crimson Royalty does give them the win. Started out well on the 3rd marble. Antarctics seem to make a bit of a comeback, but this final push there, that anchor marble will give the win to the Crimson Royalty. Heat 2, Surface Striders and the Emerald Sprites. Down they come. Emerald Sprites seem to have the lead. The Surface Striders, they're close behind. And the final anchor, there come the Surface Striders. And I think they got past the Emerald Sprites just barely at the end. That was very close all the way through. Emerald Sprites did have it through the first 3, but that last marble slowed down, and they got the Surface Striders pouncing on the opportunity, and they will move on. Next up, Cardboard Cutouts and the Ice Angels. Down they go. Pretty close between the Ice Angels. It's a lovely 3rd marble, and that's going to give them the win. Didn't even need the anchor there. That 3rd marble doing very well to get out, but after a close battle between the first 2, and the Ice Angels will move on over the Cardboard Cutouts. That's 2 big teams knocked out here. Let's see the 3rd one. We've got the Fiery Opals and the Scarlet Sins. Down they come. Fiery Opals, they started a very good lead, and it's only gaining. And that's brilliant from the Fiery Opals. They've absolutely crushed the Scarlet Sins. That was not even close, and that's the 3rd team in the top 3 to be knocked out. Fiery Opals, that was an excellent performance from them. Very well deserved to move on. Next up, we've got the Exoplanets and the Necromancer Knights. Down they come. Exoplanets, they seem to have the lead. Necromancer Knights, they've fallen behind, and that's going to be an easy win for the Exoplanets. Necromancer Knights, they had an alright start, but that first handoff, second one, and then it just kept stretching, Exoplanets take a comfortable victory over the Necromancer Knights. Mossy Mice and the Locust Plague. Down they come. Mossy Mice seem to have the early lead. They're catching up though, the Locust Plague, and I think they've gotten past there just at the end. Gonna be quite close. Mossy Mice, they had a good start. Locust Plague, they managed to keep it close though, and then that Anchor Marble did very well to get past that last Mossy Mice, and Locust Plague will move on. Kidden Castle and Valiant Velocity. Valiant Velocity are in 4th right now, so they want a good result here, and they're starting out very well. That's brilliant from the Kidden Castle. They make it a little closer with the Anchor Marble, but it isn't going to be enough. Valiant Velocity, a dominant win here. That first handoff by the Kidden Castle just was not good at all. Even though the last Anchor Marble did what they could, it was not enough. Valiant Velocity move on. Graveyard Ghouls and the Revolutionaries. Down they go. Graveyard Ghouls seem to have a good start, but they fall behind. Revolutionaries, they take a massive lead, and they take a crushing victory over the Graveyard Ghouls to end it off. Graveyard Ghouls, they started well, but that second marble had to tripped up a bit there, and they completely lost all their momentum. And the Revolutionaries are the last team to move on to the quarterfinals. Looking at the bottom half here, Kidden Castle, the only team there to have a sub 4-second time. They will take 9th place all the way down to the Graveyard Ghouls there in last 16th. Not a good result for them. First quarterfinal, Locust Plague and the Surface Striders. Good start there for both teams, but Locust Plague, they're stretching it, and they're going to take the win over the Surface Striders. It was pretty close there at the start, but that first handoff was a lot better for Locust Plague. The second one even more so, and that allowed them to get the win with that Anchor Marble. They will knock out the Surface Striders and move into the semi-final. Second quarterfinal, Crimson Royalty and the Ice Angels. Down they come, Crimson Royalty, they're pretty close to the Ice Angels. Second handoff, that's very good. Ice Angels, they're making it back though, and that's going to be very close. Did the Ice Angels manage to get it back from the Royalty? Not 100% sure here. Crimson Royalty, they were stretching their lead after that second handoff. The Anchor Marble of the Ice Angels, they get very close, but it's just not enough. The Crimson Royalty barely hold on to move on to the semis. Third quarterfinal, Fiery Opals and Valiant Velocity. Down they come. Valiant Velocity seem to have the Fiery Opals. They lose it. They were doing well. They try to make it back, but they're not going to make it. They lost it out, I think, on the second handoff. First handoff was pretty good for both teams. Valiant had a short lead. Third handoff did not go well for the Opals. They tried to get it with the last one, but it wasn't enough. Valiant Velocity move on to the semis. As for the final quarterfinal, Exoplanets and Revolutionaries. Down they come, Exoplanets. They start off well, and they go even better. Can the Revolutionaries make it up? No, they can't. They made it back slightly, but it is not going to be enough to catch the Exoplanets after the blue team's excellent start here. Revolutionaries just did not get off to a good pace, and even though their anchor was all right, just wasn't enough to beat the Exoplanets, and they are eliminated. The 5th through 8th Fiery Opals do manage the 5th place spot. Again, only team under 4 seconds, with the Surface Striders there taking the 8th place spot. Semi-finals, Valiant Velocity and the Crimson Royalty. Down they come, Crimson Royalty, they have the lead. Can the Valiant Velocity make it up? No, they can't. The lead just stretches. And the Crimson Royalty, with a dominating victory there, move on to the final to face the winner between the Exoplanets and the Locust Plague. Very nicely done here from the red team. Valiant Velocity couldn't make it up. They are eliminated. They'll go to the bronze match. But who will face Crimson Royalty in the final? Will it be the Locust Plague or the Exoplanets? Down they come. Exoplanets, they seem to have the lead. Locust Plague, they take it though. Can they hold to the Exoplanets with that anchor? And that's going to be incredibly close for this final spot. I do not know who got that. It was a close start. Locust Plague, they took the lead in first and second handoffs, but that anchor marble was slow. Here come the Exoplanets, and the Exoplanets, they will pass and move on to the final to face the Crimson Royalty. My, what a race. Who will take the bronze medal though? Will it be the Valiant Velocity or the Locust Plague? Down they come, Valiant Velocity with the early lead, and they look to be holding it. They just stretch that with the anchor marble, and they will take a very well-deserved bronze medal here. That's going to be quite good for them, sitting in 4th place with the top 3 teams faltering early. That is very nice for them with the bronze medal. Locust Plague will get a solid 4th place as well. But looking at the final here, this is what we care about. The Exoplanets and the Crimson Royalty, who will take gold. Down they go. Crimson Royalty, they have the lead. Exoplanets, they're right behind them. That final anchor marble shoots out for the Crimson Royalty, and they will take the win in the relay race. Very well done there by the Crimson Royalty. That final anchor marble, their captain, taking it to the finish line for them to win the gold medal. A lovely performance there by the Crimson Royalty. Exoplanets, a very solid finish there with that silver medal, while the Valiant Velocity take a well-deserved bronze. A very intense penultimate event we saw here today, and looking at the standings, the cardboard cutouts have retaken the lead, just 4 points ahead of the Emerald Sprites and 5 points ahead of the Scarlet Sins. Behind them there are 3 other teams with outside chances at the victory: Valiant Velocity, Crimson Royalty and the Locust Plague, with the Necromancer Knights also having a slim chance at an overall podium. The bottom 8 teams, however, they are completely unable to win or land on the podium at all, so it is all to play for those 6 teams who have a chance to win it all in the final event, Elimination Race. See you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Connects Marble League. Today we have event 12, the final event of the season. It is Elimination Race. A very long, treacherous course has been set up here. Most marbles will take at least 20 seconds or more to finish it, and the last one to finish it in every single round will be eliminated and will not get to continue on with the rest of the course. A lot of spectators here to watch this final event, this spectacle, as we look at the current standings. In the lead are the cardboard cutouts, but they are not far ahead of the Emerald Sprites or Scarlet Sins, with the Valiant Velocity, Crimson Royalty and Locust Plague all also having outside chances at the league. So this is going to be a very close season. As you can see, the marbles here out today. We got a lot of captains in this one, a few others, some notable choices being Model for the cardboard cutouts, Energy for the Scarlet Sins and Fairy captain of the Emerald Sprites. But let's get into the first race. Every single marble here is up and down they come for the first look at this course. Right now in the back we see we have the Locust Plague and Valiant Velocity. Oh, a bit of the track come undone there, but I think that will not make much difference here. Valiant Velocity, they are struggling in the back. They're trying to catch up to the Mossy Mice, or perhaps the Ice Angels. Can they do it here? Yes, they can. They make the pass. Mossy Mice get back past, but then Valiant Velocity, they get back past. And that means that the Mossy Mice will be the first team out. They have not had a good season, and that is just going to top it off. Next round, down they come again. Revolutionaries, they seem in the back, trying to catch maybe the Surface Striders here, or the Valiant Velocity again, who are not doing well. Surface Striders, oh, a few more were stuck there. Cardboard cutouts in Necromancer Knights. They managed to get away though. Can they maybe catch? Yes, they can. Passing the Surface Striders, who are having a lot of trouble there on that final few red bumpers. And they are going to be eliminated, not even finishing the course. They get stuck. And they are done. Round 3. Who will the next to be eliminated? No championship contenders are out yet, although I believe the Locust Plague, they can no longer win, because they needed the cardboard cutouts to get last, I believe, to win the championship. But the Crimson Royalty, they don't seem to have a lot of trouble. Very far behind now. Maybe they can try catch the cardboard cutouts. They're catching up here. Can they get past here? No, they've been blocked. And I think the cardboard cutouts can escape, and they will live to fight another day. I mean, the Crimson Royalty are going to be the third team eliminated. That is a championship contender out. I think there are only 4 left in the Valiant Velocity, cardboard cutouts, Emerald Sprites, and Scarlet Sins. Then these teams come again. Graveyard Ghouls, I believe, having some trouble. Oh, one marble gets very far ahead. I'm not sure who that was. Scarlet Sins, they have some trouble there. Exoplanets, Graveyard Ghouls, trying to just make their way through this course. Exoplanets, they've fallen behind. Can they maybe catch the Revolutionaries here? Doesn't look like it, and that's the Revolutionary stuck. It's not going to happen. And the Exoplanets are the next team to be eliminated. Still all to play for here. That's, I believe, 4 teams out so far. Who will be next? Right now it's the Kidding Cast. They do have the most trouble. Get past the Ice Angels. Can we get past here? No, they can't. This Kidding Castle, they seem to have gotten stuck further up the course. I believe the Ice Angels will escape. Fiery Opals, they had some trouble at the end, but the Kidding Castle, they got stuck. Calico has been eliminated as the 5th marble out. 11 remain. Down they come. Cardboard cutouts, they seem to have some trouble. Antarctics, they're having trouble as well. Fiery Opals, they seem to get stuck, freed by the Antarctics. Antarctics, they make their way back past the Fiery Opals though. The Opals, they've gotten stuck again. Maybe they can catch here. Oh, it's been a very bad bumper. And that is going to seal their fates. The Fiery Opals will be the next team eliminated, and they will not make it into the top 10. Speaking of which, 10 marbles are all that is left. Some have been closer to being eliminated than others. Still 4 left in the championship hunt, I think, though. Valiant Velocity, they get out very far, but then they fall behind, I think. Who is in the back right now? The Valiant Velocity got stuck. Cardboard Cutouts are in the back. And Arctics, they've in the back as well. They managed to catch the Revolutionaries, but it's not going to matter because the Valiant Velocity, they seem to get stuck further up. And that is the next contending team to be eliminated. Yes, you can see them here. Axel, captain, is out. That leaves 9 teams and only 3 championship contenders. It is that top 3 we're looking for. Emerald Sprites, Cardboard Cutouts, and Scarlet Sins. Who will be out here, though? Graveyard Ghouls, they seem to be in the back. Ice Angels, Emerald Sprites. That's tough for them. They are a championship contender. They managed to make it past the Graveyard Ghouls, though. Can they hold this? Revolutionaries are falling behind as well. The Graveyard Ghouls have got them stuck. I'm not even sure they've gotten stuck there. But the Scarlet Sins, they're going to escape. And the Graveyard Ghouls are eliminated. Very disappointing for that team. But they are out and will not make it into the top half. As you can see, the bottom half here, Graveyard Ghouls get the 9th place spot, followed by Valiant Velocity, Fiery Opals, King Castle, Exoplanets, Crimson Royalty, Surface Striders, and Mossy Mice. 8 teams remain. How will they do? Down they come. Looks like the Revolutionaries are in the back trying to catch the Scarlet Sins and Necromancer Knights, who are having the most trouble here. They managed to pass the Scarlet Sins, though. Can that team, they're still in the hunt for the championship, and they managed to get past both the Locust Plague, Revolutionaries, and Necromancer Knights. Locust Plague, they're in trouble there, but they managed to pass Necromancer. But a few teams stuck here. But the Necromancer Knights are ultimately going to be eliminated. Those are the teams that got stuck, managing to escape, and 7 are left in this final championship hunt. Down they come again. Locust Plague, they're in the back. They managed to pass the Ice Angels briefly, who then fall further behind. They're now trying to catch, I believe that's the Emerald Sprites. Can they pull it off? Coming further down, man, trying to catch up to the Emerald Sprites. Can they do it? I don't think they can unless they get Cardboard Cutouts. No, they cannot. And the Ice Angels are eliminated. Their season is over. 6 teams remain. Down they come with 3. Those 3 championship contenders are still all in it. It's still all to play for. Cardboard Cutouts still have the best chances. Locust Plague, they're escaping. Can the Revolutionaries maybe catch them? I don't think they will. No, they've gotten stuck. That was not even an exciting race, that one, I believe. Locust Plague, they just got away. 5 teams remain. Revolutionaries are the next team out. But there are 5 teams and 3 championship contenders. They are the Locust Plague, Antarctics, Emerald Sprites, Scarlet Sins, and Cardboard Cutouts. Only 3 of those teams can still win. The Cardboard Cutouts, they are right now in the back. But they managed to pass, I believe that is the Locust Plague and Scarlet Sins. Scarlet Sins, they're falling very far behind now. This is looking dangerous for them. Can they maybe catch? They managed to pass the Locust Plague briefly. And Arctics got stuck, but they're pushed free by the Locust Plague. Here come the Scarlet Sins and they pass the Locust Plague. That was very close. So what's this? Appeal pending. I think the Locust Plague, they're appealing for something. I think they're saying the Antarctics blocked them on purpose. Let's have a look at this. Antarctics, they're in the lead. They got stuck. Emerald Sprites and Cardboard Cutouts both passed. Over the Locust Plague, they get stuck behind them. Scarlet Sins, they get stuck there. And then these Scarlet Sins, as we saw here, made an excellent pass at the end. But the Locust Plague are claiming that was purposeful. And the Antarctics blocked them. Antarctics, they're claiming they just got stuck. And the Locust Plague got stuck behind them. What's it going to be? And the appeal's been denied. They've stated that the Locust Plague could have gone past the Antarctics and failed to. But there are 4 left. 4 championship contenders. Scarlet Sins, Cardboard Cutouts, Emerald Sprites, and then the Antarctics here playing spoiler. They managed to pass the Cardboard Cutouts now, who are in some trouble here. This could be bad for their championship hopes. They need a gold or silver to clinch the championship, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Cardboard Cutouts, they're falling behind unless they can catch the Sprites here, and it's not going to happen. The Cardboard Cutouts are out. My goodness. And now, the Scarlet Sins and Emerald Sprites, they have their chance. The door has been blasted wide open for them. If the Scarlet Sins get gold, they win it. If that doesn't happen, Emerald Sprites, gold or silver, will win it. And Arctics getting here. They're just here to play spoiler. Bullet, their captain, has been doing very well. And now they're fighting with the Emerald Sprites for this 3rd place spot. The Emerald Sprites have fallen behind. Is this going to end up being between the Scarlet Sins and Cardboard Cutouts? Enough to get away from me there. But I think it is. Unless the Emerald Sprites can catch, they cannot. And it's going to be between the Scarlet Sins and Antarctics for the gold. If the Scarlet Sins get it, they win. If the Antarctics get it, the Cardboard Cutouts win. And down they come for the final round. The Antarctics, they're getting away from the Scarlet Sins, but they make some bad moves there, and the Scarlet Sins get ahead. Antarctics, they've passed back now. The Scarlet Sins get it back now. This is going to be very close to the end. The Scarlet Sins, are they getting away with it? Yes, they are. They pass the Antarctics for the final time, and they're going to cross the line and win the Connect Marble League in its entirety. Envy of the Scarlet Sins has done it and has won the gold medal to win both elimination race and the entire league. A very hard-fought battle there between all these teams, Antarctic getting the silver and Emerald Sprites with the bronze. It was a very, very close battle all the way to the end, but overall the Scarlet Sins just barely have managed to defeat both the Cardboard Cutouts and the Emerald Sprites to take the Connects Marble League victory. 132 points with 4 medals gives them the win. It was very, very exciting league we saw here today, but it is all over now, and so please enjoy the closing ceremony.